What's up guys? Today I'm testing out the new TTI Sandviper Gel Blaster. This is a replica made by Golden Eagle of the $10,000 Taran Tactical Innovations competition grade pistol. This was sent to me for review by the Australian-based retailer iHobby. They're selling it for $499, and if you want to check them out, please use the links down below as it helps support my YouTube channel. The blaster comes shipped in a nice foam-lined hard case, which is great for transporting it to and from events. The pistol itself works great. Load it up with gas, load in some gel balls, slam it into the magwell, rack the slide and fire away to your heart's content, and it even locks back on the last shot. Being an unlicensed replica though, there's a few things Golden Eagle got wrong in the looks department. I wasn't originally going to say too much about it because it is attempting to copy a $10,000 pistol, but for a $500 price tag, you'd expect a little better than what we got. It reminds me a little of those $10 Rolex watches you might have been offered while holidaying overseas. Probably the biggest thing people will notice on this is the color. This pistol should be more of a bronze color, which TTI even calls Coyote Bronze, whereas Golden Eagle went a little too golden when color matching this blaster. Where they did do well though, is the shape of the blaster. Up front it has that iconic angled compensator with small ports on either side and a large port on top, which on the real thing would help keep it aiming flat under recoil. A little further back from there on the slide itself, it has weight-saving cutouts on both sides and on the top. And when you view the front of the pistol side on, you can definitely see why they named it the Sandviper. Surely it's not just me who sees the head of a snake here. Moving further back along the top of the slide, it has RMR mounting posts. This pistol is designed to specifically have an RMR sight attached, although it doesn't come with one. I'll put a link down below where you can find the exact one that I'm using here. On a real Sandviper, it has a much deeper cut, and the RMR sight sits a lot lower down into the slide than it does here. I do think it's handy though that Golden Eagle made this as simple as it is to add a sight. Also, you might have spotted a black version of this pistol with iron sights instead if you watched the new John Wick 4 trailer. That's a new model from TTI called the Pit Viper, and a licensed gelable version of that is coming later this year thanks to TEH. On both sides of the slide, it has these aggressive angled lightning bolt striations which do an excellent job of matching the real thing. A bit of a letdown is that the text and the logos are printed on in white, rather than engraved into the metal. I guess those of you with a steady hand and an engraver could use that as a stencil to make it look more realistic. There's also a few smaller logos and trade markings that are just missing entirely on this replica compared to the real thing though. Something else you might notice is the trigger guard is also the wrong shape. Golden Eagle have used a double undercut that they probably just reused off all their other 2011s, while an actual Sandviper has a straight flat edge with some grip texture on the front and the back. The trigger itself is near enough in shape, same deal with the hammer. Also, the top screw on the grip and the screw on the trigger guard should both be bronze rather than black. I think most people would probably never notice that, but you could always paint or swap those out. The tip of the disassembly pin has an ugly looking bump in the center of it, while the actual Sandviper has a longer pin with a nice flat face to it. The slide stop side of that pin is an accurate match in shape, though I did find it hard to reach with my thumb unless I was wearing gloves. I'm guessing that's probably the case on the real thing as well though. The mag release is circular like the real deal, but the surface is smooth rather than having a diamond texture to it. But now we come to my personal least favorite part of the blaster, and that's the grip. While it is stippled, they did an incredibly rough job of it. It doesn't match the real thing at all, which is meant to feel similar to a skateboard deck in your hands. This here actually digs into your skin, hurting you if you aren't wearing gloves. Plus, there's no fine edge where it ends. Instead, the stippling spills over around the mag release area, which looks ugly. Personally, I think using skateboard style grip tape would have been a far better choice for imitating the silicon carbide that TTI actually use. Moving on, the black coloured metal outer barrel does a good job imitating the colour of DLC. Inside of that, there's a 90mm long gold coloured inner barrel with a 7.2mm internal diameter. Along the top edge of the inner barrel, it has air slits which are supposed to help your gels travel further by giving them a backspin effect, but in practice we all know that's a bit of baloney and doesn't actually work that way. When you fire the blaster, the slide moves back separately from the compensator, just like the real thing. And when you fire the last shot, the slide will lock back, revealing the ejection port where, after loading in a fresh mag, you can actually see your next gel ball ready to be chambered. Hitting the slide release will push the first shot in and you're ready to keep on firing. The blaster has a functioning ambidextrous thumb safety, which, just like a real 2011, only engage if the hammer is back. It also has a grip safety, so you can't accidentally fire the blaster unless you're actually holding it in your hand, or intentionally pushing it down with your thumb like I'm doing here. When you hit the mag release, the mag gravity drops out every time. The mag base is black in colour when it should be bronze, and the body of the mag should also be steel coloured. To load the magazine with gels, just like any other Gel Blaster pistol, pull down on the follower and feed a speed loader into the wider part of the channel. This mag holds a total of 18 gels, depending on how large you grow them and whether you get a perfect double stack or not. To load the mag with green gas, just turn the magazine upside down so you're actually loading in gas rather than air, and push the nozzle if you can into the gas port for about 5 seconds. The magwell, which is the wrong shape for a Sandviper, has a very large flare to it, so anyone who usually has trouble finding the hole shouldn't struggle at all here. At the front of the frame, it has a nice long lower Picatinny rail for adding attachments like a flashlight or anything else you can think of. I did have some trouble trying to attach my own flashlight to this pistol though, where the slot is in the Picatinny rail didn't quite line up correctly with my flashlight. I'm sure if I sat there with a file, I could just file that out and eventually it would fit, but out of the box it doesn't seem to line up properly. Overall, as picky as I've been on all these small differences, you can tell Golden Eagle have made a solid effort to replicate this pistol, and they probably did it based solely on photos without having actual access to the real thing. My two biggest complaints are the colour and how uncomfortable the stippled grip is. It does look really cool though, so I can see why a lot of you probably do like this. Maybe I'm being a little bit too tough on it though. Is it really fair to compare a $500 replica to a $10,000 real steel firearm? I'm sure you guys are going to let me know in the comments down below. For now though, let's get to some testing. Both the gel balls and the gas I'm using today were kindly provided by the Battle for Waterloo Skirmish Field shop. If you live in South Australia, come out for a game and have a look at all their stock while you're here. They have everything you need for a fun day of gel ball, gas, gels, CO2 and even HPA refills. And of course, higher blasters you can use for the entire day. Support your local gel ball fields because without them, we have no legal reason to even own a gel blaster. Now, when I first started filming the velocity test, straight away I could tell something was a little off with the blaster. It was shooting between 130 and 190 feet per second on 14 kilo green gas, straight out of the box. The only thing I changed was swapping the Golden Eagle mag for a WeTech one, and it made a world of difference. 277, 264, 243, 235, 275, 241, 243, 273, 268. With a WeTech mag instead of the stock Golden Eagle one, I got a high of 277, a low of 235 and an average of 257. I'm not sure whether my Golden Eagle mag was a one-off dud or whether they're all like that, but I'd recommend trying different brand mags if you have any issues yourself. Just keep in mind that other brands won't lock the slide back like the stock mags do. For my next test, I'm going to take a look at the accuracy from a distance of 20 meters away from the target. I'm starting with half a mag left after figuring out where I had to aim.
I think it's shooting a little bit to the right, so hit low, high and right, high and right, high and right, hit, just missed to the left, just missed to the right. Let's reload this mag. Hit, just high, just left, hit, just right, That's all of the gels. Because I'm using a not stock mag for this pistol, it's not looking back on empty.
At a distance of 20 meters, 7 shots out of 15 hit the 1 meter diameter target. The total spread was around 1.5 meters, which is fairly standard for a Gel Blaster pistol. Overall, I found the performance of the Golden Eagle Sandviper was pretty standard. An average velocity of 257 feet per second on 14 kilo green gas is a little on the lower end these days though. Plus, I had to swap the mag to a different brand to even get it that high. In the looks department, probably the most noticeable thing they got wrong is the colour. The real thing's more bronze, while this looks more gold. My personal least favourite thing is the stipple job of the grip. It's very uncomfortable on bare hands and doesn't match the look of the real thing at all. There's a lot of smaller differences too, but I think the majority of gel ballers aren't going to notice those small differences. To most players, this is just a super expensive $10,000 pistol that they've seen in a Demolition Ranch video, or maybe they're even a fan of Taran Tactical Innovations thanks to the John Wick movies. If you've been eyeing one of these off, don't let me put you off buying it just based on the appearance alone. After all, it's the only Sandviper Gel Blaster you can currently get your hands on. If you do end up buying one though, please make sure to use the link down below as it does help support my YouTube channel. Also, I'll put a link to the mag I was using with it from WeTech. Before you go, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on other videos like these two up on the screen now. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.